Joseph's special gift. Joseph was his father Jacob's favorite son. One day, Jacob gave Joseph a beautiful, colorful robe. But his brothers were jealous of him. Joseph went to find his brothers who were watching their sheep in the fields. From far away, they saw him coming, his colorful robe making him easy to spot. But instead of feeling happy to see him, their hearts filled with jealousy. One night, Joseph had a dream. He told his brothers, "Your bundles of wheat bowed down to mine." The brothers were not impressed by Joseph at all. Their jealousy grew stronger. Joseph had another dream. "I saw the sun, moon, and 11 stars bowing down to me." Even his father, Jacob, was surprised by his dreams and the meaning of it. The brothers whispered to each other. Their anger had turned into something more dangerous. One day, when Joseph came to check on them, the brothers saw their chance. "Let's get rid of him," they whispered. "Then we'll see what becomes of his dreams." They grabbed Joseph, tore off his colorful robe, and threw him into a deep, dark pit. Joseph looked up, scared. "Please, don't do this." But his brothers turned away. Joseph sat at the bottom of the pit, all alone. His heart pounded. His brothers were supposed to love him. Just then, a caravan of traders appeared, traveling to Egypt. The brothers got an idea. They pulled Joseph out of the pit and sold him to the traders for 20 silver coins. Joseph was taken far, far away. To cover their tracks, the brothers dipped Joseph's robe in goat's blood and took it home. When Jacob saw the torn robe, he cried, "My son is gone." He wept for days. Far away in Egypt, Joseph arrived as a slave in a land he did not know. A powerful man named Potiphar bought Joseph as a servant. He worked in Potiphar's house for a few years, remaining faithful and trusting God. Potiphar saw Joseph was wise and honest. He put him in charge of his whole house. But Potiphar's wife told a terrible lie about Joseph. Potiphar believed her and sent Joseph to prison for many years, even though he did nothing wrong. In prison, Joseph met two men, Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker. They looked troubled. They had strange dreams and didn't know what they meant, but with God's help, Joseph could explain. He told the cupbearer the good news, that he would return to the palace in 3 days, but the baker would not survive to see another day. Joseph had asked the cupbearer to remember him when he was free, but he forgot all about Joseph. One night, Pharaoh had 2 strange dreams. He saw 7 fat cows eaten by 7 skinny cows. Then, 7 healthy stalks of grain were swallowed by 7 dry, withered ones. No one could understand what they meant, but the cupbearer remembered Joseph. Quickly, Joseph was brought before the king. "I cannot explain dreams, but God can." Then he spoke, "Pharaoh, your dreams mean the same thing. There will be 7 years of plenty, crops will grow, and food will be everywhere. But after that, 7 years of terrible famine will come, and people will have nothing to eat." Pharaoh listened closely. "Find a wise man to store food during the good years," Joseph advised. "So Egypt will survive the famine." Pharaoh was amazed. "Joseph, God has given you wisdom. You will be second in command over all of Egypt." And finally, after being in prison for 10 years, Joseph became a ruler, dressed in royal robes. Just as Joseph said, a great famine spread across the land. Egypt had stored food. People from all over came to buy grain, hoping to survive the famine. And so Joseph's brothers also traveled to Egypt, not knowing he was now in charge. They bowed before Joseph, just as he had dreamed all those years ago. Joseph wanted to test them. He told them to bring their youngest brother with. They left Egypt and later returned with Benjamin, just as Joseph demanded. Joseph wanted to see if his brothers had truly changed. He secretly placed his silver cup in Benjamin's bag. When Joseph accused Benjamin of stealing, Judah stepped forward at his little brother's defense. Joseph could not hide it any longer. He cried out, "I am Joseph, your brother." The brothers gasped. They had betrayed Joseph. But after a very long 20 years, he forgave his brothers. "Do not be afraid. God sent me here to save many lives." Pharaoh heard the news and invited Joseph's family to live in Egypt. Jacob received the news. Joseph was alive. Without delay, he traveled to Egypt. When they met, Joseph hugged his father with joy. Pharaoh welcomed Jacob and his family, giving them land to live in peace. Joseph's story shows God's plan, faithfulness, and how suffering leads to redemption and forgiveness.